Most founders don't actually have a content problem. They have a full-blown identity leak. And this leak is only going to keep getting worse every time they hand their thinking to a generic AI prompt or some half-ass lazy cheap ghostwriter. So if you've been finding that your content sounds fine but feels hollow, this is why. Right now, we're in what I call the AI slot apocalypse. The AI slot apocalypse is defined by infinite content, infinite speed, but zero signal fidelity. And the market can really feel this shit. Buyers are becoming more and more skeptical by the day. Audiences are scrolling faster and faster. Word to my boy Spin City, you're competing with the flick of a thumb. And while all of that's going on, the authority that you're supposed to be building as a founder, as a creative entrepreneur, as a solopreneur, that authority is quietly decaying, decomposing, rotting away. And the wildest part of all of this is the fact that it's not the AI that's really the problem. It's that most people are using it like a shortcut instead of infrastructure. They're using it as a get rich quick scheme instead of using it as a system that can multiply their force, their impact, and their leverage over time. They're copying the surface tones, the surface speak. They're not installing a cognitive architecture. So every post becomes an impression of themselves. You see what I'm saying? They're basically a caricature of themselves through their own content. They're not actually using their full authentic voice. They're using some AI derivative of it that's brought on by poor prompting. That's what I mean when I say identity decay. And for a founder, this form of decay within your business can only get more and more and more expensive. And I need you to understand the growth rate of this expense is not linear, it's exponential. The longer you let it go on, the more expensive it's going to get. And I'm not just talking about the financial cost, I'm talking about the cost to your mental health. I'm talking about the cost to your relationships that you're going to have to sacrifice because you're over here spending hours and hours and hours and hours and hours a day making content that ain't really going to do shit because the algorithms are already trained to make sure your content don't do shit. So here's the real constraint that we're dealing with at this particular time, right? High leverage operators, the type of creative entrepreneurs that I'm talking about, not content creators. Y'all are losers. I don't care about y'all. The high leverage creative entrepreneurs, the operators. These people do not lack good ideas. I know you got a million and one good ideas up here in this noodle. What you actually lack is the translation bandwidth. You're thinking at 10,000 feet. You see what I'm saying? You're up at altitude. You're in the mountains with this shit. But your publishing system now, right? Your participation on these social media platforms forces you to write at ground level because you have to talk to a bunch of people who are essentially babies in comparison to the niche knowledge that you have available to you. So here's what you're going to end up doing as a high leverage creative entrepreneur. You're going to end up burning through maybe 5 hours trying to turn your strategic insight into a variety of posts that can not only service these different platforms, but can but can try to generate the kind of leverage that you actually want to create the conversion that you need in order to make the sales that's actually funding your life. Because when you're a creative entrepreneur, what you're not doing is using the monetization fucking protocols of these social media platforms to try to make real wealth because that's not what those monetization platforms were even created for. So you're either going to spend these 5 hours turning strategic insight into posts, or you can outsource it and spend 2 more hours fixing what never felt like you in the first place. Either way, your highest value time gets taxed. And word to my nigga Spin City again. You only get this one life, this one timeline to have this particular experience. So your time is your most valuable asset. So why would you burn that time doing something that is not going to generate the return on investment that you need? Your highest value time is being taxed. And it's not because you're inefficient, it's because you don't have a middleware. You don't have a translation layer where you can say, hey, this is what I want to write about. It ingests that information and then spits out the perfect content in your voice, in your tone, with your cadence, with your language, it sounds and feels and reads just like you. That's what you need now. And that's what I'm bringing to the game. Live and direct from the mothership. This not gonna be on some other shit. It's Hitso Yawaku, the sovereign identity architect, and I'm here to introduce to the family signal architecture. Signal architecture is not a content assistant. The signal architect that I am bringing using the power of Claude skills that I developed inside of Anti-Gravity's IDE, this is not a content assistant. It is a Claude skill built as a cognitive mirror. And it does three things really, really well. First, it ingests identity. It's not going to take none of your fucking vibes. It's not going to take none of your fucking slogans. This is about decision boundaries, language patterns, pain hierarchies, philosophical constraints. Second, it compiles that into a structured identity hash so that Claude isn't guessing who you are. It knows who you are. It's operating inside of a well-defined, predefined architecture. Third, it enforces fidelity. It doesn't just generate posts. It checks the rhythm, sentence pressure, concept altitude, drift from your core theory of value. And as a creative entrepreneur, if you don't know what a theory of value is, you're robbing yourself. You are leaving thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on the table. You're selling yourself short. Go learn how to build a theory of value for yourself. That's a free gem. That's a free gem for y'all. What I'm doing right now isn't promotion, and it certainly isn't prompting. This is about an installation of a system to streamline the social broadcasting and content marketing that you have to do as a modern digital brand. That's what this is about. So, what I need to clarify before I go any further with this conversation is the fact that this isn't an automation for volume. This isn't so you can pump out 100 shitty tweets a day. That's not what this is for. It's not so you can pump out 1,000 bullshit carousels a day. That's not what this is for. This is not growth hacking. It's not 10 posts in 10 minutes. If you wanted more fucking noise, you don't need this system. You can keep moving. You can step the fuck away. Don't worry about this. The signal architect exists for one reason and one reason only: to prevent authority dilution while increasing authority velocity. We want to make sure that not only is your authority concentrated in one centralized position, it also can execute quickly. It can move fast. In the business world, it's called being agile, being able to quickly pivot. That's what we're here for. What changes when this is installed, you're asking? You know what I'm saying? Aku, I hear you talking all this fly shit about this Claude skill and this AI digital twin ghostwriter shit you're working on. Like, but you're like, what changes when I actually purchase this and start working with the system that you're building? All right, peep this. 5 hours of drafting becomes 15 minutes of just oversight. You move from writing content to auditing a signal. Instead of asking, what should I post next? You ask, does this align with my business architecture? And because the system mirrors your thinking, not just your tone, the output compounds across LinkedIn, across Substack, YouTube scripts, Instagram clips, not because it's made to be multi-platform, because the underlying signal is stable, and stability is what scales. Stability is what helps you grow in this bizarre bazaar, this mad marketplace. This isn't about content production, and I can guarantee you that. Because I hate content creators. I hate content creation as a whole concept because it doesn't compound leverage unless you engineer it to do so. So this is about operational insurance because your ideas are assets. I don't know if anyone's ever told you this before, my nigga, but your ideas are fucking valuable. And if they're diluted, if they're misrepresented, if they are flattened into AI sludge, you lose your pricing power. So, what you could have charged $10,000 for with no issue, you now have to charge $1,000 for, and niggas is still trying to negotiate you down further than that. And niggas still got all this extra, oh, it's so expensive. Are you ready to stop having them conversations with niggas? Are you ready to actually get what you deserve out of this shit? Then you have to stop being a content creator and you have to start being a creative entrepreneur. Content creation told you to sell your genius for cheap, for pennies on the dollar, for a couple dollars per thousand views. Does that sound smart to you? Does that sound sustainable? Does that sound like leverage? Does that sound like a compounding asset? What happens when Twitter disappears? What happens when Instagram disappears? What happens when YouTube blows up? Are they going to keep sharing revenue with you? Do they even give you royalties right now? This is what this is all about. And that's why I built the signal architect, because the signal architect protects the integrity of your thinking while removing the manual bottleneck of actually having to create content for all of these platforms, knowing good and goddamn well that the content itself is not going to pay you unless it drives conversion. If you can't understand that, then get the fuck out of this game. Stop playing around. Go be a content creator. Go be a digital sharecropper. You see what I'm saying? Go be a techno surf. Go do that. Go be a slave in this new digital economy. That's good for you. I love that. I have no issue with that, bro. But if you actually want to turn your cognition into infrastructure that you can leverage ad infinitum, then this is what you need to be talking about, and this is where you need to be. So if your authority feels slower than your intelligence, that's a systems problem. This system, the signal architect, was designed to fix exactly that. Not by making you louder, not by making you more flashy and flamboyant, by making you legible without becoming extractable. I want your audience to know who you are, what you do, and how you intend to serve them, and the transformation you want to deliver to them without being burnt out by these stupid fucking algorithms that are constantly trying to keep you on the platform without ever letting you get the benefit of what your work is actually worth. Are you tired of being a digital slave? Then I am talking to you. What I have built here is not a productivity tool. And if you even think about it like that, you're disrespecting me. Don't do that. It is a fidelity layer. It is to make sure that your signal stays true to who you are and stays true to the goals of your actual enterprise, of your actual entrepreneurship. It's a ship. That means it's supposed to be going somewhere, not just lost in this sea of content floating around doing fuck all. And once you can understand this simple difference, generic AI prompting stops making sense. Orewa kakugachi gwandayo. Translation, I'm built different. And I build these tools so you can be different too.